Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Nicole Röder. I'm trade analyst of consumer goods of the Italian Trade Agency in Berlin. This event is organized by the Italian Trade Agency and FEDERTERME under the guidance of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The aim of this webinar is to promote and to help the market approach of Italian companies in the spa sector, especially in these difficult times which we are currently living. Today, we have the support of several market experts who will explain not only the characteristics of the German target group, but also the demand of the German market. Will be given by Mr. Francesco Alfonsi, the director of the Italian Trade Agency in Berlin. Buongiorno, Mr. Alfonsi. And he will be followed by Mr. Massimo Caputi, the president of FEDERTERME. So buongiorno also to him. The first keynote then will be held by Antonella Rossi, head of ENIT Frankfurt. Buongiorno, Antonella. And the second lecture will be held by Mrs. Silva Masersi, Secretary General of the European Spa Association. Buongiorno, Silva. Once finished the keynotes, you will also have your time to pose your questions, which you can do anyway in the chat during the entire event, but also afterwards via email to us. Please do so in English for a better understanding to everybody. And if you also could give advice to whom we may pose the question, which will actually help us. I now pass the word to Mr. Alfonsi and wish you all an inspiring and revealing event. Mr. Alfonsi, please.
Mr. Alfonso, you have to unmute yourself with your microphone.
Yes, I was just trying myself, you know. Okay, good morning, guten Tag, buongiorno to everybody, to the speakers, to the entrepreneurs who listen to us today. Thank you, Nicole, for the introduction. Actually, I'm reading a novel, a detective novel, an Italian one, which set is Aosta. You know, Aosta is the, I don't know if Xila was there once, but Aosta is northwest of Italy, you know, the French-speaking area, or the Patois-speaking area, they would say, the locals. And it was a Roman city established by the Romans in just a couple of years, in 2 years. You can imagine building up an entire city in 2 years, including public buildings, a forum, gym, barracks, sewing system, and of theater, amphitheater, and of course, spa, a bath, you know. So Italy has got a very long tradition in spa recreation and, bath activities. And it's something that we should preserve and launch or relaunch. This is a good occasion. I know that with this webinar, we already got a call because we put in touch, thanks to Antonella, the manager of ENIT in Frankfurt, Germany. We managed to put in touch Xila, the Secretary General of the European Association, along with the President and the General Director of the Italian Association of Spa and Baths. And I know that today we are going to listen to some very interesting, proposals, initiatives, and challenges from our Xila Masersi. So it will be rather interesting. And as each in Berlin, Germany, will be delighted to help to create more cooperation, more opportunities between the German need or demands about the spa and bath and the Italian offer. So let me give again greeting to everybody and the word back to Nicole. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, Mr. Alfonsi. So I directly forward to Mr. Caputi. Please, the word on you.
Good morning. To be clear, the webinars are always more interesting, and this, I think, is the most important webinar each FEDERTERME-ICE-ENIT. So I really say just welcome to all the attendants, and I will give more space for the speakers because every time the time is always short. We need. It seems that we need much more time. Thank you to everybody, and I would like to have the next speakers. Thank you.
Thanks to you as well. So Antonella, now it's up to you. And so we also have more time for the question answering afterwards, which is not bad. Antonella, please.
Okay, so thank you so much to each, to the ESPA, and good morning, guten Morgen, buongiorno. We are very happy to be part of this webinar. I think it's a very good challenge and occasion just to work together on a very strategic product, tourism product, very important for the German-speaking countries, would say. I think that I have to launch my presentation. I don't know if you can see that, because I would love to just underline that ENIT as a national tourist board has a long tradition in promoting the topics, the products topics of this today's webinar, which is from one side the thermal tourism, the health tourism, and on the other side the wellness one, the wellness tourism. So we have different channels. We have making so many advertising and marketing campaigns, and using also multi-channel platforms like our websites, italia.it, enit.de, and Facebook for the B2C activities, and LinkedIn, and Instagram also, and Twitter for the B2B. I want to go, first of all, give you a general overview of the German market, what it means, what critical mass is for our customers, and how important is the German markets. And then to go deep in details for health and wellness tourism. So I'm very glad to have Sheila Mezosi, as Secretary General of ESPA, as our special guest, because she's really the perfect person, the expert for some strategic questions. I know that they are very important for you and for your activities, for your core business. I'm trying to get the next slide. I don't know if but that works. Okay, this one. I just talked about our website, official one, the generalitalia.it platform, and enit.de, where we have different themes, so tourist themes, and one of these is surely term and wellness in Italy, where also we refer to FEDERTERME as one of the main strategic body or actor for the general offering in thermal and wellness offering. I do try to go to the next one, but I don't know. Okay, German tourists in Italy. Germany, as I told you, is the first source market for Italian tourism, and we have like around 60 million, so 59 million overnights. These are data based on the year 2019 versus 2018. And that means around 12 million arrivals every year. And if you add to it also the Austrian and the Swiss market, we are around 50 million arrivals, which means almost more than one third of the international arrivals in Italy. The preferred regions are the northern Italian regions that make altogether 70% of the total, and we have just basic group like for the accommodation, hotels, which are almost 53 of the total, and the so-called extraalberghiero, which means also bed and breakfast, but also agriturismi, on country houses, on resorts, that makes 46% of the total nights. This is just to give you some figures and keys to understand how critical and how strategic is for our business. I just wanted to give you also some information about the spending which is the next slide. I don't know why I get difficulties. Okay, this one. German tourists have spent in Italy 7.6 billion euro in 2019, which is and was actually for pre-COVID, for the pandemic. 7%, 7.4% versus 2018. And the spending is mostly for the, as I told, the northern regions, but okay, if you're interested, we can also, but they're official ones, give you figures about the other Italian regions, which have been positioning, a strengthening of their position on the German market in the last 10 years. I do think about also some southern Italian regions. The next one is for me just to go to the health tourism, international health tourism in Italy, so we go more in details to what interests the main topics of today's webinar. We have around 300,000 travelers for health tourism in Italy, which means 1.2 billion overnights, and we had in 2019 a decrease in the number of travelers in the overnights, but interesting is to observe, to point out that the spending had a real important increase of more over than 20%. We can suppose that in these packages means that people are more and more interested or available and willing to spend more money for their staying in thermal and wellness resorts, thermal baths or thermal or wellness resorts, and they are more willing to spend more money for so-called collateral services, or like kind of health insurance packages, or to be sure to be provided with medical assistance on site if necessary, if needed. Where does money come from? The Austrians, as you see from this graphic, the international spending for health and thermal treatments, are the champions are Austrians. Spent for them in Italy over 95 million euro, which is about 54% of the market share. Followed by Germany with 29%, with 29 million euros, which is 16%. And if you look at the Switzerland with 9 million euros and 5%, we have almost or more than 70% of the all around of the spending for thermal treatments and health are generated by the German-speaking countries. This means that there is a high potential for us to promote and to help Italian enterprises to also innovate their products to fit or to meet the requirements and new demands coming from these countries. There is also obviously, as I told before, there is a ranking of the region, mostly receiving a recipient of this spending of the Germans and international spenders. There are Veneto, Lombardia, and Trentino Alto Adige, but as we see, there is a high potential for Friuli, Venezia Giulia, Emilia Romagna. I will tell you about also some special projects some regions have introduced or have launched for the specific sector of wellness. I think that Trentino Alto Adige, which is on the third place with 20%, has become more and more known on the German market in the last years. And Veneto and Lombardia, but also some parts of Campania, like Ischia, are old runners. Let's say they are the classics for this kind of vacation and staying, wellness or healthy staying in Italy. I told you the hotspots for German health tourists. I just said there are Ischia, Abano, Colli, Ogani, but there is a project of region Umbria, for example, with Umbria Benessere, or the Wellness Valley in Emilia-Romagna, not to mention also surely Tuscany, which is with Bagno Vignoni, or Montecatini, surely one of the most renowned places abroad. Now, after this general introduction, I would like to give you an idea what the health tourism in Germany means. So which kind of demand and how is this market structured? There are in Germany 350 certified thermal sites, which are specifically for health needs and to cure problems like locomotory system, respiratory diseases, and the offer is very, very wide and bright. So for prevention, but also physical rehabilitation, coupled with relaxation, wellness, sport, and recreational activities. This market employs around 400,000 people and generates a turnover of 30 billion euros. There is an important role played by the health insurances, which is a very complex one. I just want to say that the Krankenkasse, which are the private and official health insurances, have undergone a reform package in the 90s, which has made very difficult to get treatments reimbursed, and that's why most people prefer to book when, where, and what treatments they need by themselves instead of fighting so-called against the bureaucracy. But this is just what I want to say very short, because I want to give you the opportunity, obviously, to Sheila Mesosi to give some more information about this. Even I know that it's a very complicated field and it requires just an extra webinar or maybe just extra advising or support. The wellness tourism, I just outlined that wellness tourism in Germany is a niche product, but it's also undergoing a very important growth trend, because especially in these difficult times, as Nicole at the beginning said, and especially during the COVID and after the COVID, we hopefully that we will need more and more this opportunity to reduce our a reduction of the stress, but also has been seen like an opportunity for personal growth, and also, for example, take care of body and soul, being in contact with nature and culture and wellness all together. There are new target groups that are being very important for the market, that the generation Epsilon, which is better known like eco boomers or millennials, but also families with kids. So there is a wide range of offers on the German market for families with kids. The trends, there is a study about wellness trends 2021, which are surely is playing a very big role, the detox, and especially in this time of high digitalization, The detox means also being free of technical devices. People are just looking for serenity, quietness, and combining active holiday and fitness by having trekking opportunities, living in bio hotels, and eating local and regional foods. For this, I have just prepared some slides which I want to go through very fast in order to give you an idea what people are looking for, and where we have different target groups at around 29 years old, which still in part of this generation Epsilon, the millennials, looking also for opportunity to having, for example, cooking lessons and seminars on nutrition, and at the same time having sport opportunity, but also just sleeping. Whereas golden agers like over 50, over 60 prefer walking and reading. The wellness tourism in Germany means also, according to this study, which was published on the online platform beauty24.de, you can see that people, according to the age, they spend their time in very different ways. So the market is very segmented. It's a niche, it's small, but it's very well segmented with interests, different interests in different programs we can offer them. The next one is detox. As I told you already, 80% really wish to have just an experience of wellness without mobile devices. This is just for us to think about what we can offer them, in which context, in which frame. I think that Italy has a very good chance also with wonderful landscapes and opportunity of just combining a good food and experiencing with all senses staying of wellness. Regional products are of high importance because they also, Germans are very, you know, that are very, very sensible to so-called umweltfreundlich, means like biological products, being in respect with nature. The next one is, sorry, I'm just trying to be very fast, so which the typical customers, the typical buyers of wellness packages are couple, but also families with kids, and seems to be in a growing, fast-growing trend in the last years. I think I'm done. The spending opportunities. This is a price meant per person, as you see from the central blue column, that people are available to spend between 200 and 300 euros for a weekend. That means 2 overnights for one person, including also the just treatment, for example, for 30 minutes treatment. This is just an idea, an example to give you the perception of what is the demand, German demand. And that's it. I'm just done. It's very short. I tried to just keep some important questions. There is so much to say, but I'm very keen on hearing and listening to Sheila Mesos's presentation and to your also questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Antonella, for this overall contribution. Participants already asked if it's possible to have this presentation afterwards, but I guess won't be a problem.
Absolutely, yes, you can have it.
Okay, so now I give the word to Silla, and afterwards we will do the question answering session. Silla?
Yes, just a second to open also slide. So, buongiorno to everybody. And I'm very happy to see. Unfortunately, I don't see you, but definitely I have on the other line a lot of Italian friends which have already been in contact with ESPA, with the European Spas Association. And if you don't mind, after this deeply presentation from Antonella, I want to switch a little bit to the European aspects and also how ENIT could be more involved on, especially because by the European Union as new commissioner was voted, how we have to do on all national level our lobby. We have, clearly to say, very hard time. We are middle of strong crisis, but if we work together, if we do a really good teamwork as the European spas, and also especially, for example, on the German market, as I know that many ESPA members are focusing on this kind of marketing, and if we do like a teamwork, we can reach much more. So, technique as usual. So, just a second. First of all, greetings from the president, Mr. Dubois. And he was happy when he heard that you invited me to this webinar. Maybe shortly to my person, I am Secretary General of the European Spas Association from 2018. But it's not an accident that we know each other with Mrs. Rossi so well, because I'm more than 20 years, or yeah, minimum 20 years, working on the German market and also on Swiss market. So before I was in the consulting to develop government project for health tourism, and after that also the whole communication on the German market. That's why I can give you also added help, or I do also for many European SPA member states. They are willing to invest in the German-speaking countries, and through European SPAs, we developed a lot of good international contacts, even in overseas markets or in some other countries out, not closely to the European Union, but definitely which are playing a huge role also in some of our member countries, but could be new potential market also for Italy. First, the title, the Corona pandemic, it's, according to our view, it's definitely a historical time for revival. We have to do a really good job, and that's why I'm asking you for teamwork, because balneology and climate health resorts, they could have a much, much higher recognition in tourism. It's a very small niche market, and I'm, even after 10 years, when I talk to leading professional media representatives, I'm wondering that this topic, health tourism, even that we had to say many years, it's a booming product, it's not on the agenda. We are still dealing with city breaks, with cruises, exotic travel. So it's hard work, not only for the politicians, but also for the influential, for media representative. I would say almost like still we do brainwashing. And because of the COVID-19, we have to use our chance, because health is the new currency. And we can say that soon this will be the new status symbol. It's not how big cars and houses and luxury travel we do. People, they will stay healthy, they will be successful. So this is our chance, and as we said in the beginning, now we have to think about communication tools, about different kind of marketings and campaigns. And I hope that after this presentation, we can come at least after the final discussion, which project do you feel could be the most effective on the German market, and how we can support you? As I said, with ENIT, we do work for many years together. And tourism and the breeding machine, that was our message to the European main decision maker. And we worked also very strongly with high reputed influential medical association to transfer the need for better prevention. It's really not on the agenda of the politics. They still think it's a fashion word and they don't take it serious. We have to control the chronic disease. So the spa resort, climate health resort, I would say for all risk group, they can offer a very good services. And you will see on some example how we work already with some of the countries, or what we could get from the state aid which was provided by the European Union. As you see, we have to communicate also in a single direct way also to political groups in the European Union. And for example, the socialists, they put it even in the agenda when we send it out all our argumentation, why you have to take now spa resort, climate resort, biology much serious, and also for the old aging population of Europe, but especially for the chronic disease and prevention. I would like to ask you also for the Italian lobby. As you know, Mrs. Alessandra Priante, and I know from Mr. Crudeli that you have good contact to her. So she is definitely supporting health tourism, but we have to give for all these decision makers or influential people in UNWTO, but also by the World Health Organization, by European authorities, and our hard work is the national government to provide a lot of content that with these services we save money for the healthcare, which is already with extra expenses this year, almost in collapse situation, and earn money by tourists. So how we can help and to provide also for the rural region. You see that also one of the strong commissioner beside internal market, where is tourism, but honestly, the budget is not in tourism, but in innovation, research, and education, we have already very good contact with the commissioner, and she had to say that everything what we made on our presentation and our personal meeting was very interesting, but health tourism, she doesn't know too much about it. So you see that in many, many different platforms, we have to be active. As you see, the main message, even started by April, we tried to explain also on the EU level that we need the vaccine, that definitely that tourism can start to work in a normal life and give a lot of security for the travelers. But vaccine is not the ultimate one solution. Next pandemics, next virus, we have to give other alternatives for the European citizens, and this is biology. We want to be our very strong legs and positioning in prevention, and which is not too much in the media at the moment, but rehabilitation for the survival. And of course, because of the chronic disease like diabetes, respiratory problem, where Italy is extremely good, cardiovascular disease, obesity, and so on. So biology has to be the second line by fighting COVID. And for that, we developed a pilot project for the European Union, and we do believe that after the vaccines, are available, we can get or open doors how to provide also the boosting of immune system. We would like to have a European pilot project which is paid just for health holidays. And this proposal was made in end of March, beginning of April. We were working very hard with the direct contacts of parties in the European Parliament. And finally, some of our member states succeeded also to have this kind of voucher. I would say the very best example was the Czech Republic, which was dedicated for tourism holidays, minimum 6 nights and minimum 5 medical treatment. Also, Slovenia had extremely boom. They were overbooked till September when before the second wave came. But even Serbia and smaller countries, they made a very good practice of it. So now we are collecting the economic data, how good it was working. And I know in Italy you had also a similar system with the vouchers to provide that this kind of activity or this kind of quite small money, how fast it can return back, and citizens are happy, operators are happy, and somehow we have also for the government. Actually also, I forgot to put here also Lithuania and Bulgaria, they made this kind of a system for teachers, for healthcare workers, for all kind of professionals. They were on the first line working by COVID. And of course, media has influenced almost everything. Some of new members, I mean, Italy, as you have seen, it's an extremely loved destination by Germans. And if you talk about health tourism, some new destinations are coming on the market. Just one example, 15 years ago, when Poland started to be getting up to the health tourism market, everybody was laughing. And if you see the numbers now, we have to be really jealous. And I have here another country which is doing also a very good job, and they were not present on the German market before. It's, for example, Bulgaria. And as you see, they do a lot of publication for the professional and also for the end consumer, combining the general attractions, but as you see the titles, eine gesunde Entdeckung, wie frische Luft unseren Körper stärkt. Also how they talk also about the climate health resort on the seaside and in the mountains. And bleiben Sie gesund mit Erholung in den Bergen und am Meer. So they try to show much more of the attractions than it was before for the Germans. Slovenia, I talked last week, and now they will start also a huge campaign just for health tourism. I know that the new videos and the spots are almost ready. So I just want to mention to you that some countries are year by year stronger presented. Italy, of course, it's the top 3 destination of the Germans. But if you want to have these special clients, you need a very specialized communication for that. And just a week ago, I had a longer conversation with the leading professional media in Germany. A lot of changes will be published soon. I would say to our advantages, I mean, from the side of the countries or regions or health destination. But again, we have to pray. Still, even by COVID, we have to pray, put health tourism in a different sector, make different kind of event, make different kind of publication, just to go the whole offer what we can provide, because it's not reducted just to have a nice wellness holiday for the weekend. We can offer much, much more, and our medical competencies has to be on the front line. That will make the difference between the wellness, what was mentioned by Antonella in details, and the health resort. As you see, with media, we have to influence much more than the German market. And of course, I tried by the very last European Spa Congress. First, we realized the international press trip. So we had the leading professional media from the Arab world, from Israel, but also the public news. We had the Chinese press agency on our Congress and also China Daily, but we had from France, from Germany. So this is the circle that we have to touch. And I'm telling you, for all journalists, and they were leading professional media, health tourism was like, yeah, we heard about it, but could you explain? So somehow I have the feeling after 20 years even to do a job or to start the job from the basics. And as you see last year, and it was also planned for this year, to have a health tourism event in the European Parliament. We wanted to organize that also under the German EU presidency. Unfortunately, things changes, but let's hope we can do this next year. And we influence the leading travel fair like ITB, where we could manage after many years, I think 3 years already, a separated forum and pavilion for medical tourism. And here we have also created a congress or B2B exchange, also with hosted buyers program, but also a kind of congress and forum. And the European spas provided, for example, for this year, but was unfortunately only a plan and not reality. Almost half of the program came from the European Spa Association members. It was market analyses, new products, new services by health resort, but also one of the main points was how to cooperate with health insurance companies, and with some very, very good examples from Slovakia and also from Germany. So I would say in this network, we can learn a lot from each other, and we can help with good example, especially if you talk to decision makers, but in this country happened this and this. They could realize, they could receive from the health insurance for this special program for prevention 100% financing or only 50%. This example could help you also to fight in your countries to get much more about support. And of course, if you are presented on these high-level events, it makes you also, actually 2 years ago with ENIT, we had already cooperation on this ITB Medical Tourist Forum. So we are already in contact, and we just have to develop, and we have to discuss how intensively and about which kind of budget we can spend for it. We are also official partner of the European Union for Be Active, which is the European Week of Sport, because physical activity, it's also very important, especially if we have to talk about fighting against chronic disease. And some other example, like the European ESPA Innovation Award, we could use it to get to some markets or to show the quality. And as we talk, historical background. We are not just a fancy new product. We have the tradition, and in overseas market, this is what we have to communicate. We have a special line, also the Roman spa roots of Europe, for example. And some of the winners of the ESPA Innovation Award were presented in a really high-end, huge award by the China Hot Spring Association. We could make last year also a special edition for Israel. And as you see, even with ministers from all over the world, we try to promote the European roots and this very special tradition and know-how and the whole system that actually other continents doesn't have. And of course, we have to talk directly to EU members, MEPs. And these meetings, I try to organize it not in the European Parliament or any offices in Brussels. As you see, we tried the vice chair of the TRAN group from Germany to bring them to one health resort, because then they understand it much better what kind of quality, which kind of services we offer. So let's get back to the market analysis, and as we know, we will need a lot of patience, but last week was a new publication about German travelers. And the good news that the generation 50 plus, which is our main target group, is willing to travel. They have even very fixed plan to travel for the next year, even having more than one travel outside of Germany. And as you see, 56% want to travel abroad. So I hope this makes our efforts and our plan for any kind of marketing activities, it's proven that it's worth of investing in the German market, because our target group 50 plus 70 plus is still willing to travel. We made a huge step this year, also the first time in the history, the European plenary meeting, I would say one-to-one, our wish list was voted like health tourism, medical tourism, wellness, spa, prevention, biology, and sustainable tourism. So now we have to focus how we realize and which kind of content we deliver to the Commission. I think this is a very good base, and some of the issues that we have to fight together. We are also in a contact of the European Health Expert Group, and here it's our message, like EU citizens demanding sustainability for the environment and nutrition. It's a time to focus also for the sustainable methods of medical treatment, like biology and the climate health resort, because we do healing without side effect. And definitely the chance for us, it's with the new orientation, which is the medical competence of our units. As you see, for example, France is focusing strongly by cancer aftercare programs, and they are at the moment #1 in Europe. This was actually also the biggest and most strongly financed program of the European Union, European Beating Cancer Care, before COVID came. Of course, nutrition, which the example from Iceland with many innovation awards, but in Italy you started also a special program, and this has to be known also on the German market or on the German-speaking countries. As Italy, it's not only as a touristic destination, but definitely one of the most popular culinary destinations. So please use this kind of interest to combine and to make a really good, strong package of this. Another example is burnout, sleep disorders, stress management. We can go in a soft way to the detox program, but here mental health will be also a very strong, and it's a huge demand after suffering so much and so long with the lockdown or light lockdowns. In Germany, many rehabilitation center and health resorts, even by the first wave, they became, and smaller countries like Slovenia or Serbia as well, or Slovakia, they could manage to have the reputation and to be a strong partner in the healthcare. So they were asked to be the second line, overcrowded hospitals to serve with the background infrastructure because of the medical staff and the very good infrastructure. And from this good cooperation in many places, a new rehabilitation program started, also for private payers. It doesn't mean it's only this kind of special program. It's not only for health insurance paid by health insurance. Also, many people asking from the private sector as well. And here you see one very interesting information. This is from Slovakia. They made, they show us in 10 years how strongly it changed, especially if you check our main groups, 50 plus, 60 plus, 70 plus, which segment was growing much faster? That's the private payer sector. So as Antonella mentioned, in Germany, they cut it a lot, this kind of Vorsorgekurleistungen. But of course, every 3 years, you have to make the advantage to take the money from the health insurance and that to pay at least medical services by the German health insurance. But it's definitely a clear message that self-payers are the strongest and fastest growing market. And also why I'm talking about medical competence, it's also because you see that in European Union level for tourism, there is almost no budget, even this very few money, which was in April. By the first discussion, they took it out. So definitely the money and support will go for the healthcare. So our main goal has to be a strong partner in the healthcare. Don't know how many of you have been participated in the European Tourist Convention Congress in October. We were very surprised because the commissioner was 3 times on the program, and as you see, he mentioned the first commissioner who mentioned health tourism. So we are proud that this lot of letters and communication bring this first fruit. So we believe that health tourism has a much better future, but it's in our hand how we communicate, how professional we communicate. And that's why, as I mentioned, we have the e-library where we collect all medical researches. And that would be nice if we could receive updated medical researches also from Italy, because that's the only library where doctors and professionals can look. And now, as we see the views, many times and more frequently, the risk group by COVID are in the search engines. So we need for respiratory, for cardiovascular, for lifestyle changes. If you have any kind of updated medical information, please send us. It's free, but they can at least see that Italy has a strong, like France. I know that, that's why I know that Mr. President has a very good contact with Italy, because you do a lot of medical researches even together. So please do this favor. It's for your opportunity to communicate the medical competencies. And of course, boosting immune system and lifestyle changes. That's which is a little bit closer to the wellness sector. We have to be still like a holiday in a very nice, trendy, green resort. So we don't want to be the clinical resort, but we have to use the chance as nature and health will give better opportunities for the travel industry. If we talk about Germany, you have to see also what is the internal market, how they communicate and how professional they are. I have also on my slide the information, and you see, for example, Bavaria, and then if you open the magazine, you have orthopedic, psychosomatic, respiratory, allergy, diabetes, obesity, dermatology. So they focus very strongly on the medical competence. They don't promote wellness in this way. And they have also special seals even for allergy-friendly communities. And this is Bavaria. Italy is also a nation which loves football. So, for example, it's not impossible, like the Bavarian Spa Association could manage. They have Philipp Lahm, the previous captain of the German national team and player of Bayern München. He is the testimonial, and he is the influencer. And as you see, you can check all the videos and messages of him. He doesn't talk about medical information, healthy lifestyle, be active, and also detox nutrition. So they have completely different messages. For the clients, they want to be healthy, and for clients, they are looking for pain therapy and to reduce the pain and to live more healthier, to live more mobile. Then one of the other example, which is Heringsdorf, it's an island in North Germany. They realized from European money a healing forests. And in the meantime, they started immediately with the medical research for kids. It's not only for psychosomatic, cardiovascular, and respiratory problem. They made a very special program for kids. They are suffering of the motoric, of the reduction of the motoric and balancing function of the body. And now they try to get the kids in a very funny way in the nature and making a lot of exercises in balancing, but being in the nature and not to have any kind of mobile devices. And one example, which is, I would say, the most successful program in Germany, this could be also a good idea for you, but definitely you have to know what is the competition and how you have to, if you want to work with the German health insurances, how and in which way we have to start the whole work. For example, Bad Pyrmont, which is in Lower Saxony, they are #1 in corporate health management, and they develop the whole prevention programs with the health insurance company. For example, a special big program started for the handicapped people, because all professions, they have different kind of health problems, so they divided and they made special programs for each kind of professions. And now they started even for the agri industry. So as you see, from 350 euro, more than the half is paid for by the health insurance company. Mr. Crudeli asked me by the previous meeting to talk a little bit about health insurance companies, or how Italy could start to work, or how you can improve. I would not say how to start to work, but how you can improve this kind of activity. We managed, as I said, more than 20 years in the German market, and I succeeded with some countries, with one country to have direct contract with health insurance companies, and also some ESPA member countries, they were not even on the listed proven countries, also to get by the German Gesetzliche Krankenkassenvereinigung on the list. And I have to say, this kind of project, they take 2-3 years, so it's not a kind of campaign and let's do something and put one of the health problems and to communicate for the end clients. As you see, these facilities must have the medical requirement, of course, almost on the same level like Germany, but I'm not afraid that Italy is not on this level. But you have to have a designated spa doctor, which has additional training for physical therapy or balneology and medical climatology. And the whole paperwork. So it's not only communication and to have the contact to the German health insurance companies or to the decision maker. It's also in the same time a very special training for your staff, how to create the documentation and how to give the advice, because by the health insurance you cannot wait for a big campaign. They will not promote it. The way how you can get clients is to get the end clients, and they will influence the doctors how to make the papers. But in this way, your own doctors have to give the trick tips, which kind of medical effects they can have on your health results. And one information which has nothing to do in direct way with Germany, but by the European SPA in these weeks, we are just exploding about a new regulation of the medical devices in the European Union, which was postponed 1 year. And now I'm asking also FEDERTERME to check if you need, because in Germany they want to be always on the very safe side, and now they try to force all members to make a new certification for the healing water, for the mud. Only climate resort and climate therapy are not in this group, but it costs a lot of money, it costs a lot of time. We are talking about some million of euros to make the new certification for all the natural remedies. Now we try to have again a European statement, because the whole story started with the medical devices which are not natural remedies. But this should be maybe a separate discussion with Mr. President and Mr. Crudeli. But please check also on the last newsletter what is the new regulation and how they influence the Italian sector. As we talked about chances, you see that, and it was a really big surprise, these statistics were made for Davos World Congress. If we have the vaccine, how many people are willing to get it? And maybe you are surprised or not, Italy, it's with 37%, Germany 36%, if the vaccine are available, and they would take it. And that's why we are talking, beside the vaccines, European citizens need alternatives, and this is balneology. That's also why we are happy that most of our members, they started to be more like a wellness providers, and in many countries these medical routes was getting more in the background. Now this is the chance that we have to go back to our roots and to put the medical competence, the natural remedies, this special attraction of a health resort and the main line. And all our communication will focus also on the risk group, like I already mentioned, the respiratory problems, cardiovascular problem, overweight, mental health, that will be definitely one of the main issues in the future, and lifestyle changes. By lifestyle changes, we have more opportunities. And as you see, even in the European Union, there are special programs also for healthy aging. So we see, I would say, these are the main line where we have to focus also on the German market, because they are very well educated, as you have seen, from their own facilities. And some of the future, how we see health tourism, of course, as I mentioned, it's a new status symbol, and health has never been as important as it is today. This is the key to success in life and also in business. Improve the immune system, And of course, this mental, spiritual health, we have to offer much complex packages. If we talk, it's not only about the spa hotel, we have to talk about a spa city or a health region. So this will be a new challenge, and where I'm a little bit afraid and how this balance act could be done. Somehow we have to provide the clinical safety, but our clients are coming to have fun and to enjoy life. So I guess when these speed PR tests are available, we have to show that we do it every day with our employees, or we screen much better our clients. So this improved immunity message, it's very good, but we have to focus on the safety, because that will be more important. And again, one study, which is quite new, was published in October. Quite big changes is visible if we talk, and they ask the German clients, how do they see, how do they understand health or health tourism? So as you see, it's between relaxation and optimize themselves. This is definitely also because of the COVID. They have to keep in a very, very good healthy shape. So personal well-being was by our target group the most strongly mentioned argumentation, balance of body, mind and soul, and which was quite new, personal fitness. So even the way we think about health is changing, and that's why we have to change also our offers. And the questions before, you were asking also about the booking tools and which kind of products are strongly asked. You see, nachhaltige Urlaubsangebote, Urlaub abseits des Massentourismus. It means sustainable health destination and sustainable tourist product, and away from overcrowded tourist places. And this is definitely, again, something where we can be in definitely one of the most frequented destination. And by booking, it's almost 0.5% from Germany by internet. But by COVID and by this cancellation, many people had to learn that because of the special regulation, if you book your trip by a tour operator, you easily get back your whole money. If you book it online, you have to fight for months to get back your money. So I would say both of these main players will stay. And on the left side, for 2021, where the Germans would like to, or they plan the holiday, it's Italy with Spain, #1. So that's again something that you have to focus on the German market, because the demand is very strong to make holiday in Italy. I think we talked all about these topics. Anyway, you will have this presentation. And just to shock you again, even the European Commission is putting information on official platform that we had to react that I'm really sorry that you never heard about, or the expert in the Commission, about biology and medical spas, but we are already helping for the healthcare sector, and definitely we can offer a lot of good services for the rehabilitation. Shortly, the next Congress, hybrid Congress, will be in Slovenia. As I mentioned, we combine hosted buyers program, innovation award, and international press trip. And I would be happy if more of the FEDERTERME members would read our news, or you are following Facebook and LinkedIn. And as you see, Italian award winner were already participating with good results on the ESPA Innovation Award, like Chianciano Terme, Lemi, No Name, and Terme di Margherita di Savoia. So this was just to get to the European and German market mixed possible way. And I hope through the questions and conversation, we can figure out what could be the main activity on the German market or German-speaking market about health tourism. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Silva. I guess you just covered all the main issues, so that's why we surprisingly have just one question, which actually is yes, it refers to the Deutsche Krankenkassen and the main issues, how to choose Medcares inside the union and the capability to intercept fundings already dedicated to prevention. But I guess this will be issued.
Sorry, could you repeat it again, or a part of this?
Yes. As some of you have mentioned, I do request a second webinar. Okay, so let's see about this. There are two main issues: choosing Medcares inside the European Union, so this is the first one, and the capability to intercept fundings already dedicated to prevention. But maybe actually this one could be addressed to a further webinar in future.
Look, health care and health insurance is definitely, it has to be one project, but we have to discuss with ICE and with FEDERTERME. If you wish to go for these specific contacts, and it has to be a long-term project.
Yeah, as you said, 2-3 years, no? But I guess today...
Look, I mean, Italy, it's a known country. Many Germans traditionally go to Italy. But as you see, with the COVID, we will have to provide new products and a completely new communication. The sensitivity of the clients is rising extremely. But it depends on us how we will be successful. If we provide serious content, we can communicate the medical result, because that's what they are looking for. It's medical effect and the result after staying there 2-3 weeks. And actually, I was too fast by one slide. Digitalization. Most of our doctors, or at least what I have seen, are quite old, and these evidence-based medical studies cost some 100,000 million euros, which is always getting more difficult to provide this information. But the digitalization and new technologies, and that's why I was also participating on one of these calls where I mentioned this healthy aging project, how to provide for our members these new technologies. And my idea behind it was how to measure when our clients, I mean, we know that they have respiratory problem or they have locomotive problems, so our health resorts are specialized. So we can get some devices to measure the health conditions of the clients when they enter and they arrive to our health resort, and what is the result after 2-3 weeks. It's not a evidence-based medical study, but for communication, we can provide the graphics and a lot of information which can, I mean, for our kind of communication, it could be a huge step, because evidence-based studies for normal citizens is hard to understand. This is doctors to doctors. But for our communication, this would be a huge step to provide the right content and also to communicate which health resort for which kind of had problems give the right help. So digitalization is not only just collecting data to make a much better sales activity, to provide touchless entrance, and to provide communication between the doctors. But for me, one of the most important things, how to get medical results and how to communicate the advantage of the health results. And then was also one question, if you don't have the chat, from the previous seminars, you were asking also about booking tools, or which online booking tools are working quite well. So of course, these online travel agents, Expedia, Booking.com, which it's okay, but by our own booking engines, they each about internationally more this travel click, which is very influential. And I would say the big challenge is not to make the online booking from the spa, from your own booking tool or reservation tool, but how to combine with the capacity. So this is, at the moment, there is no big international company where I can recommend, because each countries are working on their own system. Some of them are very good. So this is the skip the line for the clients, and to provide them very fast access after arrival, because most of them, they will not book everything in advance. That's also a technical challenge that we have to solve.
A lot of challenges anyway, okay. There's another question from the term of Montecatini. I would like to know what's the state of the art in Germany for European regulations about the transnational medical care directory. The 211, also einmal kurz auf
Look,
Deutsch.
the Germans are not that interested in this regulation, because they don't receive clients from other European unions. Most of the countries are interested to get the German clients to their own facility, and yeah, I mean, regulation is very clean. Free choice of doctors. That's why I'm telling medical competence, the doctor is the key of success.
Okay, so if there aren't any further questions, thanks again for all your contributions. And I guess...
Can we have some feedback from Mr. President, from Mr. Crudeli?
Yeah, from FEDERTERME.
I mean, at least to get ideas, where is the most interest and which project could be, okay, of course you have to talk to your members, but if you don't mind, I would like to finish, at least to clear for us, which could be the most important next step to be more effectively presented on the German market.
Thank you so much, Sila.
Mr. Crudeli, what do you think? Which members of FEDERTERME are strongly wishing to be presented on the German market, or we can talk also about German-speaking countries? And how do you see the options with the new product to be redirected to the COVID-related offers?
Well, I think we have a general interest in be present on the German market. I mean, we are the usual areas of Alba, Ischia, the North Italy in general, but also other companies now are looking to other markets, other different markets than the usual ones. So Germany is one of the main important. Concerning the new products and the redirection of activities, well, it's sad to say, but COVID can be also an opportunity for what you said before, because well, there is a new need of health, obviously. So especially for the respiratory and otorhinolaryngology diseases. So the effort we are trying to do also in the research is trying to demonstrate that spa treatments are good also for this new kind of disease, also for prevention. But I would say that the interest for the German market at the moment is getting generalized in Italy. I mean, also companies that before were not so interested, I think they could be now with this new scenery.
Or to mix your image with the seaside, with the culinary mountains, and the extra added value with the natural remedies. Maybe some of the German clients, they were going already to Italy, but they didn't know that they have this extra special advantage, and this has to be maybe more clear.
It's not easy to say because we have spas all over Italy, and every town has its own skill concerning the offer. Some of them are on the seaside, some others on the mountain, but also near to the cultural towns like Firenze or Roma, and Naples, and also Sicily. So I think this is an important asset that we have as Italian spa system, because we can offer very different kinds of tourism beside the traditional offer of cures. So it's not easy to say in one word. You can choose. Also, you can choose the kind of structures. I mean, we have top level, but also medium level for families. So all kinds of pockets, I would say.
That's a must, because not only luxury.
Yeah, we have luxury, but not only. Yeah. I mean, you know the system. You've been also 3 years ago in Italy for the ESPA Congress, so you could meet a lot of our employers, and you know, it's quite different, differently offered, but we can put on our market.
Okay, it's definitely. I mean, as I see from many other countries how they are presented, I would say you have much more than you show.
So this is a good starting point, but actually we are running out of time. So this kind of evaluation, maybe we do it in a second appointment. And thanks everybody for joining. And presentation will be sent to everybody, will be also on YouTube in a few days. So thanks to everybody. Have a nice day, and we will hear each other. Bye.
And let's hope to be
active. Let me thank you everybody for participating in this event. I was really impressed, along with the presentation of Antonella and Xila. So, Xila, you gave us challenges, you gave opportunities. I think we have to face with this new view, of spa and bath, So healthcare is really the key word, So we realized how health is important just when we risk it, just like in these days, in these months, unfortunately. So prevention can be one of the solutions that we can deal with easily, than waiting for just the vaccination. And it was quite impressive, the graphics you show with the people, attitude to vaccination, So I felt that the majority was for it. It's not. It's a minority. So maybe they will accept much more an health treatment in a nice place with good, hospitality than ever, you know. So thank you so much. Mr. Crudelli, as ICE and as ICE in Berlin, we are ready to be at your side in a campaign, in action in this country to show what Sila said, to show all that we have, and it's not probably sufficiently done, you know. So please count on us, count on ICE for your aim, your goal around the world, and especially in this country. So thank you so much. Thank you to my colleagues in Rome, you know, Federica and Luigi, who did a very good job, and to my colleagues here in Berlin, Nicola and Steffi. Thank you so much, Antonella, Xilla, Mr. Crudelli.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Stay healthy.
Stay
That's the most
healthy.
important.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah.
So,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you.